Over 3 millennia ago, the tomb of a boy king was sealed away, forgotten by time, until one man stumbled upon the greatest archaeological find of the century. But with that discovery came whispers of death, revenge, and a supernatural curse. Could it be that disturbing the ancient pharaoh's tomb unleashed dark forces upon the world, or is it all an elaborate myth spun by the media? Today on Reality Recital, we explore the truth behind the curse of King Tutankhamun. Our story begins not in the tomb itself, but with the man who was obsessed with finding it, Howard Carter. Born in 1874, Carter was fascinated by ancient Egypt from a young age. He began his career as a draftsman, documenting tombs and artifacts for other archaeologists. But by the early 20th century, Carter had developed a dream of his own, finding the lost tomb of King Tutankhamun, a relatively unknown pharaoh who ruled during Egypt's 18th dynasty. For 5 long years, Carter searched the Valley of the Kings, scouring the desert for any clue of King Tut's resting place. By 1922, most archaeologists believed that the valley had been fully explored. Carter's benefactor, Lord Carnarvon, had grown impatient and was on the verge of pulling funding from the project. But Carter convinced him to support one final season of digging. On November 4, 1922, Carter's team uncovered a set of stairs leading to a sealed door. On it was the unmistakable seal of Tutankhamun. It was the breakthrough he had dreamed of. Carter's famous quote when he first glimpsed into the tomb, "Yes, wonderful things." When Carter and his team entered the tomb, they were met with a sight unlike any other. Gold glistened from every corner, magnificent statues, chariots, jewelry, and, of course, the now famous golden death mask of King Tutankhamun. The tomb, despite being smaller and less grand than other royal burial sites, was packed with treasures beyond imagination. Carter and his team spent months cataloging the thousands of artifacts within the tomb. But as they worked, an ominous legend began to grow. Just weeks after entering the tomb, the first tragedy struck. Lord Carnarvon, who had funded the expedition, fell ill. In April 1923, only a few months after entering the tomb, Lord Carnarvon developed a high fever. What seemed to be a simple mosquito bite on his cheek became infected, and his health rapidly declined. On April 5, he died from blood poisoning. His death would have been seen as a tragic accident, if not for the timing. The press seized on the coincidence. Sensational headlines screamed of a pharaoh's curse. Some even claimed that at the moment of Carnarvon's death, strange things happened across the world. The lights in Cairo reportedly flickered and went out, and Carnarvon's beloved dog, back in England, was said to have howled and died the very same hour. The newspapers speculated that the curse had been inscribed on the entrance to the tomb, warning that death would come on swift wings to those who disturbed the king's rest. While there's no evidence of such an inscription, the idea of the curse took hold, and more strange deaths were soon to follow. Over the next few years, more people connected to the excavation met untimely deaths. George J. Gould, an American millionaire who had visited the tomb, died of pneumonia shortly after his visit. Arthur Mace, a close colleague of Carter, fell into a coma and died in 1928. Radiologist Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, who had x-rayed King Tut's mummy, also passed away soon after. In total, over 24 people who had some connection to the tomb, archaeologists, financiers, even family members, died in the years following its discovery. Each new death added fuel to the fire, further cementing the legend of the curse. Some deaths seemed to defy explanation. Captain Richard Bethel, Carter's personal secretary, was found dead in his bed under suspicious circumstances. His father, Lord Westbury, threw himself from a window soon after, adding more to the tally of supposed victims. The idea of a curse was irresistible to the press. In the 1920s, the world was fascinated by Egyptology, and King Tut's tomb was the ultimate story. Journalists were quick to connect every unusual death or illness to the curse of the pharaohs. But were all these deaths really as mysterious as they seemed? Many of the deaths linked to the curse can be explained by natural causes or simple coincidence. Carnarvon, for instance, had a history of health problems. He was already in a weakened state before his mosquito bite became infected. As for others, like Arthur Mace, they died of illnesses that were common at the time. Nevertheless, the media kept pushing the story. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes and a staunch believer in the paranormal, even suggested that Carnarvon had been killed by elemental spirits guarding the tomb. Doyle's comments only intensified the public's belief in the curse. While the curse captured the public's imagination, modern science offers more grounded explanations for the strange events surrounding the tomb. One of the most popular theories is that those who entered the tomb were exposed to ancient pathogens. Studies suggest that the tomb's sealed environment may have harbored toxic mold spores, bacteria, and fungi that had been trapped inside for millennia. When the tomb was opened, these harmful microorganisms could have been released into the air, infecting those who spent time inside. There's evidence that ancient tombs, especially those that were sealed for long periods, can contain dangerous molds like Aspergillus. These molds can cause respiratory problems and other illnesses, particularly in people with weakened immune systems. Other researchers argue that the curse could be psychological. Known as the nocebo effect, this phenomenon occurs when a person's belief in a negative outcome, such as a curse, actually causes them to experience physical symptoms. In the end, the deaths surrounding King Tut's tomb may simply be a matter of coincidence. Many of those who died were elderly or already ill. The sheer number of people involved in the excavation, combined with the stress of the work and the dangers of the Egyptian climate, could account for the fatalities. Yet, despite these logical explanations, the allure of the curse remains. To this day, many still believe that King Tutankhamun exacted his revenge from beyond the grave. Today, King Tutankhamun's treasures continue to awe and inspire millions. His legacy, once forgotten, was revived by Howard Carter's discovery and the media frenzy that followed. But perhaps the most enduring part of King Tut's story is the mystery that still surrounds him. Whether you believe in the curse or not, there's no denying the powerful pull of this ancient tale. It's a story that has fascinated generations, and it's one that will likely continue to captivate us for years to come. So, is the curse of King Tutankhamun real, or is it just a series of coincidences magnified by a media-hungry world? What do you think? Was there something supernatural at play, or was the curse merely a myth that spun out of control? Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious.